connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for joining us today and another week ahead of us. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. There's so much to get to this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters. They're bringing you more local stories from more neighborhoods than anyone else, like our Canyon County neighborhood reporter this morning, Victoria Rodriguez, at the celebration of life for the late teen Onyx Cornish. She was allegedly murdered, you'll remember, by her adopted father, and dozens of community members gathered to remember her life that was taken too soon. Plus, our Don Nelson highlighting Idaho's bridge problem as dozens across the state are in need of repair. He's going to take us to one bridge over the Payette River where state funds are being directed and some once skeptical residents are welcoming the infrastructure upgrade. We'll get to all of those stories and so much more. But first, the latest on our weather. Sophia is here with the latest. And the weekend was gorgeous, although we had some rain here and there. It was kind of nice to cool things down.
Yeah, well, I was down south, so it was a little hot and muggy in the 90s. So I'm happy to return back here where we've got some comfortable weather, 50s, and we know it's not going to be humid here, so that's pretty nice too. Now, either way, as you head out this morning by 8 a.m., we'll be sitting in the lower 50s, so chilly start to the day. Grab the light jacket and the sunglasses as you head through your day because you notice nice sunshine through our afternoon. We sit at 75 today, so it's going to be pretty comfortable in terms of afternoon highs. By the time we head into the later evening, not too much change. We'll start to cool to the mid to lower 60s as we head into those overnight hours. But something I will say that'll be a little bit notable is that we'll start to see some wildfire smoke slowly built in and out. Nevertheless, Roland, it's still a nice fall day, and it's the first day of fall too.
Yeah, that's right, first day of fall, and that smoke just won't go away just yet. But thanks, Sophia, appreciate it. So we start this morning with a pair of tragic fatalities over the weekend on Idaho roadways, and here's what we know. On Sunday afternoon, the Ada County Sheriff's Office reporting a motorcycle crash that resulted in the death of a 60-year-old man traveling along East Cunamora Road. According to the Sheriff's Office, the rider was on a Harley-Davidson. He veered over to the shoulder and crashed and was pronounced dead at the scene. His identity has not been released yet, and the coroner's office says it may be released pending notification of next of kin. Earlier in the weekend on Saturday, a 45-year-old Caldwell man died after veering off Highway 55 and crashing down the embankment into the Payette River. The driver and his 25-year-old male passenger were able to exit the car, but the driver died at the scene while the passenger was taken to a nearby hospital by air ambulance. The incident prompted a multi-agency response, and Idaho State Police are still investigating.
18-year-old Onyx Cornish was tragically shot and killed in her Caldwell home last month. I'm your neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez at Julie Davis Park, where her family and friends are coming together to honor her memory.
We didn't think we would make it, but we did, and although Onyx isn't here, I hope they know how proud I am that they stayed strong and gave life another try.
Dozens of people came together to remember 18-year-old Onyx Cornish. Her adopted father, Delbert Cornish, is the man charged in her death last month in Caldwell. He's now facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder, possession of a deadly weapon, assault with intent to commit murder, and animal cruelty. Her mother says tonight was more than grief. It's about keeping her daughter's memory alive.
She had a wonderful personality, and she had such a bright future ahead of her, and we just want to remember her for her life, not her death.
Tables were decorated with reminders of Onyx's personality. Stuffed animals, jelly bracelets, and chokers sat alongside a well-loved teddy bear she'd had since childhood.
But she wouldn't use a sewing machine, so she used safety pins, and she did a great job, though.
Her brother Lucian says the family chose to hold a vigil outdoors in a way that reflected who Onyx was and how she lived her life.
Everything here represents, everything just feels very Onyxy. I'm trying to be in the mindset of, what would she want and, what would she like.
Onyx's friends described her as someone who always brought joy to those around her, whether it was through laughter, late-night talks, or simply the way she cared for others.
Her mannerisms and how she talks to people, it's just I guess she just has a way of making you happy without even trying.
As they cope with her loss, they say Onyx's memory is what gives them strength to move forward.
I know for a fact that Onyx would want us to be strong.
Inside, I'm a kind of a storm. I'm trying really hard to keep it together for my son. So that's really hard, but overall, I'm just grateful to have the support of my friends and my family.
Her mother says the turnout from the community has been a source of comfort. Neighbors, former teachers, and even strangers offering hugs and food to support the family.
People that have come today that I haven't seen in years, people that didn't even know her and came and gave me a hug.
A GoFundMe has been set up to support the family during this time. Reporting in Boise, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez for Idaho News 6.
New video this morning of a wildfire in Eagle overnight. The Middleton Star Fire Protection District says they responded to the fire around 11 o'clock last night, which was burning just north of Beacon Light Road near Hartley Lane. Officials say several structures were threatened, but thankfully firefighters were able to stop forward progress.
For Idaho News 6, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson. There are dozens of old bridges that need repair across the state of Idaho, like the old one that was taken out here in Horseshoe Bend over the Payette River, thanks to the help from the local Highway Tech Assistant Council.
If not us, then who? Who would be there to help aid in these funds?
LTAC was formed in 1994 to help local highway jurisdictions across the state. In 2022, Governor Brad Little requested and the legislature approved $200 million to help fund the repair of old bridges like the one in Horseshoe Bend.
So we knew that these structures, as they were becoming load restricted and posted, were going to start impeding commerce, let alone safety of EMS vehicles being able to cross them, and then just general service for those communities, those people living on the other side of these structures to get their deliveries and packages, etc.
One of the issues with the old bridge here in Horseshoe Bend going across the Payette River, besides being old, it's one lane. But the new bridge, which is expected to be done in the spring of next year, will have 2 lanes.
What we're trying to accomplish here with the new bridge is giving public access here to the other side of town.
One neighbor who lives by the bridge told me he was concerned about increased traffic, but realizes it will help getting around town.
We're out here making progress.
Lead inspector of the Boise Street project, Nick Saliber, totally understands.
Nobody loves change, but they're happy with the progress that's being made. They're happy with the contractor out here. We're as quiet as we can be and making progress.
I feel very lucky to work where I do, where I get to help a lot of rural communities, a lot of smaller communities every day. It's something that all of us at LTAC really take pride in.
Reporting along the Payette River in Horseshoe Bend, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
Some relief for Idahoans at the gas pump. According to AAA, average gasoline prices in Boise have fallen about a cent in the last week, averaging $3.53 today for a gallon of regular. That's about 3.5 cents lower than a month ago. That being said, Idaho prices are still significantly more expensive than the national average, sitting at $3.18. Experts with Gas Buddy say they expect prices to continue to fall, though, into the winter months as demand decreases.
Spooky season is here with one of Twin Falls' favorite attractions opening for the season. I'm your Twin Falls neighborhood reporter Joey Martin at the Haunted Swamp before the gates open for the season on Friday night, learning more about how one local family is keeping the fun going, all for their neighbors.
Suzette and Gary Miller, the owners of Magic Mountain Ski Resort, have been giving the Twin Falls community some good old-fashioned Halloween scares going on 18 years. Starting as the Haunted Forest at Magic Mountain, the Millers moved the Halloween spooktacular attraction to Twin 15 years ago, creating the Haunted Swamp. And now the swamp is open for the season for anyone brave enough to walk the grounds.
So it's a trek, it's a mile long, and you go through each section. We try to put something in there that somebody's afraid of.
From creepy clowns to witches, a haunted cemetery, and a zombie attack, you'll never know what's waiting for you around the next corner.
It's got some scary stuff, but we kind of try and stay out of a lot of the blood and guts and gory stuff. But I mean, we have a little bit of that, but it's mainly for fun.
As for the age range, well, that just depends on what your family can handle.
We have people come out here that is actually holding, an infant, and then they'll bring them through, and teenagers and their friends are all with them, and they'll sit by the fire at the front and they won't go through.
The Haunted Swamp is open every Friday and Saturday night up until Halloween from sundown to 11. Reporting in Twin Falls, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
When we get back, a look at a day of remembrance for the late Charlie Kirk as his widow delivers a stunning remark that she forgives Charlie's killer.
All right, neighborhood of the day is East End, Boise. This afternoon highs sit at 75. Going to be nice and sunny. Perfect day also for a hike at Table Rock. I'll be showing you how we warm up by the end of the week.
All right, let's take a look at your national headlines this morning at 6:13. President Donald Trump has named possible buyers for the social media platform TikTok. The president says media mogul Rupert Murdoch and his son Lachlan could be among the interested investors. Now, Rupert Murdoch's potential involvement comes as the president has sued one of Murdoch's media properties, the Wall Street Journal, after the newspaper reported on a suggestive birthday letter given to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that bears Trump's name. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's meeting with President Trump this week as U.S.-Russian tensions rise. He says they will talk on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Their meeting comes as Trump says he will defend the Baltic states and Poland from Russia if necessary. That's after Russian incursions into NATO airspace. Those include flying jets over Estonian territory on Friday and drones over Polish and Romanian land earlier this month. And later today, the president expected to announce his administration has, quote, found an answer to autism. The Washington Post reports the administration is planning to link autism to the use of Tylenol in pregnancy. Additionally, the administration is expected to claim that the FDA-approved cancer drug leucovorin is a possible treatment for autism. Both claims are raising concern among many doctors. No studies have proven that use of Tylenol, known as acetaminophen, by pregnant women is a cause for autism. Now to the day of remembrance for slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tens of thousands of people coming together, including the president and vice president, paying tribute to Kirk. But it was his widow who delivered the most stunning remarks. Here's ABC's Perry Russell.
A stunning moment at Sunday's memorial service for Charlie Kirk as his widow Erica forgave his killer.
He wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. That young man. I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Erica Kirk says she's honored to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA, the organization her husband founded. She vows to continue his legacy of embracing debate with political opponents.
The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica.
Trump embracing Kirk's widow as America the Beautiful rang out. Kirk tells the New York Times she had urged her husband to wear a bulletproof vest before his final campus tour. She says she now wears the pendant of St. Michael, the same one he had around his neck when he was killed. It's still marked with blood from the attack. The 5-hour service attracting tens of thousands to State Farm Stadium near Phoenix. Nearly the entire Trump cabinet was there. Elon Musk also seen meeting with Trump for the first time since their fallout in June. President Trump says he will honor Kirk with the Medal of Freedom. Perry Russell, ABC News, New York.
It's National Parking Day, how local groups take these parking spots and turn them into playgrounds.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, well, good morning to you. Your time right now is 6:18 and it's Monday, and maybe you're a weekend warrior and I'm also sitting right there in that spot with you, but it's not just any Monday. The first day of fall is today, and that officially kicks off at 12:19. So as you make your way into your lunchtime, maybe consider sitting outside or just get a pumpkin spice latte to enjoy and really embrace all the fun of fall. Now, what happens when we see an astronomical marking of fall? Because meteorological fall started on the 1st, and that's based off of temperatures. Well, you'll notice that Our Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees latitude, and depending on where this tilt is in comparison to the sun, that really determines where our seasons are and what we can actually see with our weather even. But also, right now what we're looking at is this tilt is not facing near the sun nor away from it, and the sun is directly overhead of the equator. So what happens is all the incoming solar radiation, it really is just evened out, and so we actually get equal hours of daylight and darkness. So you may have already noticed that the sun is actually setting a little bit earlier, and then also as we head into winter, we know it's going to get pretty dark outside by the time it heads into 6 o'clock. So just a nice, good way to kick off our Monday, and it's also the new start of a month, or pretty soon to next week. So either way, here's a look at downtown. It's in the 50s right now, nice and cool. So if you are heading out, just know it's a chilly start to the day. You are going to need the light jacket across the board. We've seen a lot of temperature changes from Boise, Mountain Home into Glenns Ferry, all in the teens, 30 in bigger cities, so biggest change there. And as we head into the later end of the day, it is going to feel pretty good overall. But waking up right now, here's what you're starting your day off with. 51 over in Mountain Home, 54 in Ontario, 42 in Baker City, mid-40s continuing to flow through those mountains, and by this afternoon it is going to be really nice. You've got mid-70s. We'll start to pick up a bit of a brisk breeze, so you may just want to keep the light jacket with you, but otherwise you've got lower 70s, upper 60s as you head into your mountains. And over the next couple days, you're not going to notice too much change as far as weather goes. We kind of just see this ridge hover over us as it starts to build in. That warms up our temperatures, but also it keeps us really nice and cool. So it is going to be a really nice week ahead. So when you take a look at the forecast, it's nice, sunny, and comfortable. We start to see this little warm up Wednesday and Thursday with the mid 80s expected. Into next week, lower 80s continue. So it doesn't necessarily feel like the super cool fall just yet. It's taking a little bit longer for us to cool down, but it's still a good week to get outside.
The city of Boise has over 100 parks, but for one day every September, they add a few more here in downtown. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel in a curbside parking spot celebrating Parking Day.
Just a little bit of green space can really liven up their experience when they're downtown. I think that's the whole point of today.
On the third Friday in September, cities around the U.S. transform single-meter parking spots into miniature parks.
Utilizing parking stalls and turning them into little parklets for the community, trying to inspire less vehicle traffic and more public spaces.
The American Institute of Architects, in collaboration with the American Society of Landscape Architects, unveiled a two-spot pop-up park here along Bannock Street.
So we have a little putt-putt course set up behind us, so as an active space, and then we also have the adjacent parking space that's more of a passive park.
The global movement started in San Francisco in 2005 to highlight the need for more urban green space. And here in Boise, neighbors say these mini parks couldn't be a better match.
We're all already so outdoor oriented, so having little parklets makes perfect sense, and it's a total fit.
This year, participants encouraged everyone who passed by to get involved.
Yeah, would you like to play?
I think it's a great example of how we can introduce even small green spaces to our urban areas.
And if you missed this event, don't worry, Boise's going car-free again for Open Streets on September 28th in West Boise. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
I'm here at the World Center for Birds of Prey for their Fall Flights program. The World Center for Birds of Prey have started their fall flights. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and if you've never been, this is a stunning show where several different species of raptors fly directly over your head. The Peregrine Fund makes it their mission to help birds of prey all over the world. Their efforts help get the peregrine falcon delisted off the endangered species list, and their work continues today.
It was really fun.
That's right. It could only be the owl. Coming in from the back, this is Oliver.
During fall flights, raptor trainers teach people about the history of these birds of prey, their habitat, and current conservation efforts. It's an educational experience
Over time, they changed the buyer cycle.
that teaches people about birds in a really unique way.
The ladies that do the commentating are fantastic, and they keep it not only informative, but lighthearted, and they're so fantastic with the birds.
Fall Flights happens every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here at the World Center for Birds of Prey until October 31st. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Dent for Idaho News 6.
That is a truly cool thing to check out. Perfect time of year to go out there. Let's check right now. It is 6:26, everyone, on a Monday morning, and we've got a lot more in store for you this morning in our last half hour. Here's what's still ahead from your neighborhood reporters.
At the Idaho State Capitol, why critics are calling for an Idaho lawmaker to step down after a recent trip to Israel.
At Boise State, I have more from staff and students on the record-breaking $7.4 million award they're receiving that looks to reshape Idaho's role in the semiconductor industry.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Still a lot to get to in our last half hour this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters like Riley Shoemaker, who's breaking down Ilana Rubel's controversial trip to Israel as over 150 Idahoans are calling for her resignation. Rubel defending her participation, and it comes as tensions are heating up between the UN and Israel. Plus, our Boise State neighborhood reporter Allie Chipke highlighting the engineering department's historic $7 million award for future research and how that money will help reshape Idaho's role in the semiconductor industry. More on all that to come, but first, the latest on our weather. We kick things off. You get ready to head out the door. Sophia Cruz has what we can expect on the first day of fall.
Yeah, that kicks off at lunchtime, so I'm super excited because it actually feels like fall today, so maybe you're gonna grab a pumpkin spice latte on the way to school, or maybe you just wanna get some nice cozy fall weather. It's finally that time. Now, you've got lower 50s for the kiddos heading into the bus stop this morning. You'll wanna grab the light jacket and just keep it with you. We will see a bit of a breeze pick up this afternoon, but overall still nice. By lunchtime, 69 into the later end of the day, 77, so gonna be pretty nice, sunny, and just overall comfortable. And thank goodness, because we deserve some nice fall weather rolling in. Also, October's next month, and then right behind that, we'll be back in winter.
Oh, no question about it. It's coming up around the corner. Thanks, Sophie. Appreciate it. We turn to the news now, and we start this morning with an update on the two Eagle kidnapping suspects as they are expected to appear in court this morning for a preliminary hearing. As Idaho News 6 has reported, police say Devin Larson and Steen Lamb were arrested in an alleged kidnapping plot in the Eagle foothills earlier this month. Prosecutors say Lamb and the victim knew each other and that the pair tased, tied up, and beat the victim. You can read all the details shared by lawyers so far on idahonews6.com. And shifting now to international news this morning, several of America's most important allies are saying they formally recognize the state of Palestine. It comes as President Trump prepares to speak at the UN General Assembly this week. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
This morning, some of America's closest allies are parting ways with President Trump and Israel over the war in Gaza. The UK, Canada, Australia, Portugal, and others now say they will recognize a Palestinian state for the first time, calling for an end of the war in Gaza and the release of all hostages.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu slamming the move, calling it a reward for terrorism, going on to say bluntly, it will not happen. A Palestinian state will not be established west of the Jordan River. Netanyahu saying during a cabinet meeting Sunday that he plans to meet privately with President Trump during the UN General Assembly this week. Trump opposes recognizing a Palestinian state, but overnight on Air Force One said this.
I'd like to see a diplomatic solution. There's a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, you know that. And there has been for a lot of years. This is not something new, but hopefully we'll get something new. We're studying Gaza and dealing with Gaza very strongly. That's a real mess.
The UN General Assembly voted to allow the president of Palestine to address the gathering of world leaders. His speech will happen virtually after the Trump administration declined to grant him a visa. As President Trump gets set to address hundreds of world leaders at the UN General Assembly on Tuesday, law enforcement is rethinking and expanding security. ABC News joining NYPD counterterrorism officers as they patrolled the streets near the UN headquarters in New York and saw the hundreds of armored SUVs used to shuttle dignitaries around the city.
It's a lot of cars. Yeah. I mean, the logistics piece that goes with this national special security event is huge. This is just one piece of it.
Law enforcement say they plan to deploy more drones than ever, alongside thousands of officers and federal agents on the ground, in the air, and on the water. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And as the civilian death toll in Gaza rises, some Idaho Democrats are calling out one of their own after Idaho leaders were pictured with a state flag planted in Israel. A downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker has the story.
Idaho Democrats are calling on House Minority Leader Ilana Rubel to step down over her recent trip to Israel. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, learning why many say she should resign.
A letter signed by more than 150 Idahoans, including youth leaders, human rights advocates, and local candidates, say Rubel's decision to join a bipartisan delegation to Israel sends the wrong message. Among those signatures, Matthew Spall, president of the Boise State Young Democrats.
An Idaho flag was planted in Israel. It feels very much like an endorsement of the atrocities. It makes me sick to my stomach.
This photo, posted online by the Idaho-Israel Alliance, is drawing attention, but Spall says it's the trip itself, funded by Israeli interests, that draws criticism.
This wasn't just a vacation. This was paid for by the Israeli government, a government that is conducting, according to the United Nations, a genocide.
But in a lengthy Facebook post, Rubel defended her participation, writing her attendance, quote, did not constitute an endorsement of Prime Minister Netanyahu's government. She said she used the trip to, quote, ask hard, necessary questions, including asking Israel's president directly about steps to reduce civilian casualties. Rubel wrote in part, quote, the staggering loss of life is turning the world against Israel. Delivering that message directly at the highest level matters in a way that staying home could not. She also emphasized her personal ties, saying, quote, as a Jewish woman and the descendant of Holocaust refugees, I carry a personal connection to this region and its history. My family's story is one of survival in the face of hatred, and that history fuels my commitment to justice, even when it requires difficult conversations. Rubel was joined by 4 Idaho Republicans, Representatives Bruce Skog, Josh Tanner, Barbara Ehart, and John Schertz. When asked about the trip, Republican Representative John Schertz told Idaho News 6, quote, I am a strong supporter of Israel and its fight against terrorism. I was grateful for the opportunity to see firsthand the challenges Israel and the region are facing and to strengthen relationships with a longtime ally of our country.
We've reached out to Rubel for comment, but have yet to hear back. For more details, you can head to this story on idahonews6.com. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
The Pentagon is requiring journalists to sign a pledge, stopping them from releasing any unauthorized information, including unclassified material. Reporters who don't sign the pledge risk losing their credentials to access the building. These restrictions come soon after Jimmy Kimmel's show was canceled over his commentary on Charlie Kirk's assassination. Media organizations are clapping back, with the Society of Professional Journalists calling the pledge a dangerous step towards government censorship. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the restriction on X, saying the press does not run the Pentagon and they must follow the rules or go home.
Boise State's College of Engineering is making history by winning a more than $7 million award for future research. And Boise State neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke speaking with staff and students about how this funding will reshape Idaho's role in the semiconductor industry. Inside Boise State's College of Engineering, students and staff gave me a tour of some labs that will benefit from this record-breaking award.
And this tool does precisely that. It allows me to heat up the material really fast and then cool it off really quick.
PhD student Miguel Macias is researching magnetic materials and says the new funding will bring major opportunities.
More people to collaborate with and more access to mentorship and different perspectives in my work.
particularly gaining hands-on experience in semiconductor technologies and techniques.
Undergraduate student Tristan Burnham showed me some of the lab equipment he uses, preparing him for employment after graduation.
These processes are actually what different industries such as Micron, Intel, and TSMC use to actually put specific materials on their computer chips. Very similar processes here that I am getting exposed to and learning, which is very valuable.
Faculty say the award will launch a new initiative.
This is a National Science Foundation award that funds the creation of the Center for Awesome, advancing workforce experience in semiconductors through outreach and mentoring excellence.
Preparing Boise State students for jobs with local industry leaders.
That big fab that Micron's making just down the road, that's 17,000 new semiconductor jobs coming online in the next couple of years.
For instance, if Micron wants to recruit, they don't have to look outside the state.
The funding will also drive research into making semiconductors more efficient and environmentally friendly, a critical step as energy-hungry AI becomes more common.
So our approach is to use light instead of electricity to make those computers, which means to process the same amount of information, we're going to consume far less energy than what electronic computers would do. And we can also process a lot more information in the same footprint.
Boise State hopes the award will also attract more talent when it comes to research staff. I'm Boise State neighborhood reporter Allie Tripke for Idaho News 6.
And your weekly check-in on Boise State alum Ashton Jeanty suiting up in Week 3 against the Washington Commanders. Jeanty led the running back room with 17 carries for 63 yards. And check out this 16-yard run halfway through the second quarter where Jeanty trucks over a Commander defensive back for a few extra yards after contact. It was a lopsided affair, though, with the Commanders in front basically the entire way, ending with a final score of 24-41. The now 1-2 Raiders hope to find some inspiration against the Chicago Bears on Sunday afternoon. And join us tonight on Idaho News 6, your home for Monday Night Football, as the Detroit Lions take on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Vegas has the Ravens favored, but both teams 1-1 and hungry to enter Week 4 with a winning record. It should be a good one. Kickoff is set for tonight at 6:15, and you can watch it right here on Idaho News 6.
In Canyon County, bird watching takes a new meaning as a bilingual event unites the neighborhood. Out here in the heart of Canyon County, binoculars are out as families connect not just with nature, but with each other. I'm our neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis at Deer Flat National Wildlife Refuge, where a local group is celebrating Latino Conservation Week with a free bilingual birdwatch adventure. It's the season for bird watching, with many birds migrating through our valley. Deer Flat National Wildlife Refuge and the Idaho Sierra Club saw an opportunity to welcome everyone, adding that the goal is simple.
Just outdoors for all, just getting people outside in fun, accessible ways.
Volunteer Melissa Morillo led the group, teaching them about birds and their habitats. She spoke in Spanish,
como las posiciones de los pies.
Then translated to English.
Yeah. So it's just easier, it's más fácil en el agua. Yeah. For like people like myself that I do speak Spanish, but I don't have the opportunity to speak it very often. It's great to see other Latinas here and getting together and to come celebrate nature and birds. So it is nice to just mingle with other bird nerds out there.
Deer Flat National Wildlife Refuge directors tell me they hope to offer bilingual events each month. I'm our neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis for Idaho News 6.
All right, our neighborhood of the day is East End, Boise, where this afternoon, 75, nice, sunny, going to be a really good day, maybe to hike Table Rock. I'll have the rest of the details on the forecast ahead.
It is 6:46. Let's take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood today. Later tonight, drivers should prepare for a nighttime closure at the intersection of Bannock and 15th Streets. The crews are going to be installing new signal arms, and during the overnight hours of the work, the intersection will be closed. So watch out for that. Also, at the Hotel Renegade downtown, a first-of-its-kind business conference dedicated to the freeze-drying industry going on from today to tomorrow. The sold-out event is drawing attendees from around the globe as industry suppliers explore the latest technologies, business strategies, and product innovation.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, well, good morning to you as you get your first cup of coffee ready and as you get ready to tackle your Monday. Today's the first day of fall and it's going to feel pretty chilly when you walk outside. I'm giving you a live look of downtown where the sun is slowly making its way up. Temperature sitting in the lower 50s, and as we get ready for our first day of fall, that kicks off at 12 o'clock today. So enjoy it. It's going to be a really nice, comfortable day. We're already looking at some changes as far as our weather goes and specifically our morning lows. So within the past day, temperatures are falling off significantly from Boise, Mountain Home down to Glenns Ferry. The biggest change, about 30 degrees in Baker City. So it is a chilly start for you as you head out your door. You've got lower 50s into your valley floors, 37 starting your day in Stanley. That's a pretty cold morning there. By the afternoon, you'll notice that a lot of us will sit in the mid 70s along your valley floors, lower 70s to upper 60s in the mountains. So it's going to be pretty comfortable weather no matter where you are. You will notice one change. While it's nice and sunny, it will grow a bit hazy today. So a lot of the wildfires that are existing in Washington and well up to our north, we're going to start to see a northwesterly flow. So what you'll notice is that all of it slowly seeps into our valley floors. It's going to grow denser over eastern Oregon from Baker City into Pendleton and then McCall and Cascade. That's where you'll run into a little bit of a more hazier sky in comparison to our valley floors, where you'll just notice some light smoke this morning and as you head into tonight. Otherwise, not very much change on our map, and so our GFS shows us that over the next couple days we start to see a ridge of high pressure build in. As it does, notice there's no clouds, no rain, but we do warm up, and right behind that, that warm, sunny and dry trend kicks us off for our weekend. So that's pretty nice, but also it just shows us that there's very little changes we head into the next week. One thing you will notice though is that our winds are going to pick up significantly. So this is overnight into Tuesday, but what it's supposed to show you is that some of our gusts today will get upwards towards 25 miles per hour. So it is going to be pretty nice and breezy, and it's going to feel like fall. I do think for us to see more consistent cool down, it looks like we'll have to be waiting a little bit closer to October, because our temperature outlook shows us that we're still expecting above average temperatures as we get ready to start the new month, which is just around the corner into next week. So this is September 28th through October 2nd, and it's not just us over here, it's the entirety of the U.S. Also our friends in Montana, Wyoming. It looks to be a pretty warm one for all of us. Now either way, it's still a really nice forecast and there's not too much on it, but there's plenty of sunshine. So you'll notice by Wednesday, Thursday, we actually warm up to mid 80s. So this is going to be the warmest days of the week ahead. By the time we head into our weekend, you've got mid 70s, pretty nice and comfortable into our Saturday, and then lower 80s into Monday. So enjoy the sunshine and maybe get yourself a pumpkin spice latte on the way to work. But speaking of getting into work, let's go take a look at your morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, it is 6:49 and we are giving you a live look of downtown where commuters are heading out on their Monday, ready to take on the day, but also the commute. So as you take a look at I-84 eastbound, it is a little slow up as you approach and really just start to get on it, specifically as you head near Garrity. So if you're going on I-84 Garrity, this is a good look of it right now, starting to pick up and get a little bit busier out there. Also, as you head out, you notice that across this area, we are still looking at a little slow up near Carter Road too, but just a heads up on that front. I-84 eastbound Caldwell to Garrity drive times just under 16 minutes. Garrity into Eagle under 8. Eagle into downtown Boise coming in at under 7 minutes this morning. So some slow up is starting here, and then also there's that slow up on Carter Road as you head into that westbound lane. I'll continue to keep you posted on your morning commute as we go through our Monday together.
Some relief for Idahoans at the gas pump. According to AAA, average gasoline prices in Boise have fallen about a cent in the last week, averaging $3.53 today for a gallon of regular. That's about 3.5 cents lower than a month ago. That being said, Idaho prices are still significantly more expensive than the national average, sitting at $3.18. Experts with Gas Buddy say they expect prices to continue to fall, though, into the winter months as demand decreases. This morning of a wildfire in Eagle overnight. The Middleton Star Fire Protection District says they responded to the fire around 11 o'clock last night, which was burning just north of Beacon Light Road near Hartley Lane. Officials say several structures were threatened, but thankfully firefighters were able to stop forward progress.
In this morning's GMA First Look, Karen Reed heading back to court.
Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
3 months after a jury acquitted her of murder and manslaughter in the death of her former boyfriend, Boston cop John O'Keefe. The O'Keefe family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Reed and 2 bars in Canton, Massachusetts. The family seeking at least $50,000 in damages for pain and suffering and wrongful death.
What I really want is just justice for the family and those that love Johnny. I think that folks have kind of grieved in different ways, but you can't have that final piece, that final rest until this chapter of the story is concluded.
Reed's lawyers maintain she never hit O'Keefe and that she was framed in a law enforcement cover-up. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on Karen Reed and the civil case against her. With your GMA First Look, I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Welcome back, everyone. It's 5 minutes before the hour, and we are just wrapping up here. In case you missed it, these are a couple of the top stories that we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
The World Center for Birds of Prey have started their fall flights. And if you've never been, this is a stunning show where several different species of raptors fly directly over your head.
That's right. It could only be the owl. Coming in from the back, this is Oliver.
Fall flights happens every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So give her a hand as she's making her way.
Here at the World Center for Birds of Prey until October 31st.
Boise State's College of Engineering is making history by winning a more than $7 million award for future research.
Faculty say the award will launch a new initiative. The funding will also drive research into making semiconductors more efficient and environmentally friendly, a critical step as energy-hungry AI becomes more common.
And of course, you can learn more about all these stories on our website. Just head to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, let's get you ready to head out the door. You'll want to grab the light jacket and keep it with you. We sit with the 50s as you arrive into work, so around 9 a.m., but by lunchtime, mid-60s on the board. Going to be nice, sunny. We'll pick up a light breeze, so that's why I said you may want to just keep the jacket in case you're in the shade. It might feel a little bit cooler, but by the afternoon, we stop at 70, so it'll be really nice today. I hope you get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Before we do all that, we still have to get into work and school. Let's go take a look at your morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
6:56 is your time, and right now we are giving you a live look of downtown where the sun is shining and coming out. Few commuters starting to head out on their way to work right now. So here's a good still shot of this. It looks like some of our drive times are having a little bit of a harder time pulling up. Let's get you ready though to head on your roads. I'm gonna pull up a look of I-94 at Garrity. Here we go. All right, okay. The cameras, it's Monday. There it is. All right, now it's back on and working. It's a Monday, guys. We're just getting through it together. Now, right now in that westbound lane, you'll notice it's pretty nice and quiet out there. The eastbound lane does not look as good, so that's where we're starting to see a lot of slow up, especially as you head on I-94. So heads up to my Caldwell commuters. Drive times still looking slightly a bit slower out there, but it's making its way. Everyone's heading into their Monday rolling. How was your weekend? What'd you do?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. A lot of football. You know, tonight it's Monday Night Football right here on ABC. The Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens, 6:15 kickoff. You got to go see the Cowboy game over the weekend, didn't you?
No, I went to the UT game.
Oh, you went to the UT game. That's right. How was it?
They blew out Sam Houston. It was 55-0. It was a lot of fun, though. I got to see all my college friends and spend some time with my family.
And then your Cowboys got beat by the Bears.
Yeah, you know, I'm okay with it because Colston Loveland's on that team.
So. I know. He's a local talent. There's no question about that. But and your fantasy football doing great?
Okay, it's a Monday rolling. Let's not talk about my fantasy football on the first thing on a Monday. How's yours?
I was told to ask you about that. Anyhow, I know the feeling. And thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.